check, check. Da-da-dup. 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 Bup-bup-ba-da-bup.
And now, Mike's thoughts.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, Notre Dame are cheaters. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish are officially college football's biggest cheaters. Buck, what are you talking about? Buck, are you just a hater? Buck, are you this? Are you that? No, hear me out. Hear me out. By the Notre Dame Fighting Irish making it to the college football semifinals last night, they earned their conference $14 million. By them winning the semifinal game last night, they earned their conference $20 million. $20 million and $14 million, respectively, for their conference. That's a total of $34 million going back into their conference. However, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish are not in a conference. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish are an independent college football program, meaning that $14 million and that $20 million, the total of $34 million, directly goes back into the college football program at Notre Dame. With that being said, there should be no reason whatsoever why the Notre Dame Fighting Irish are not competing for a championship year after year after year. There should be no reason why they're not legitimately buying themselves national championships year after year after year. The NIL system is broken, the college football system is broken, and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish just exploited it more than anybody else could ever think about. So if you guys truly, really think about this, Carson Beck left Georgia. He was going to go into the NFL draft, realized that he's only going to make $700,000 as an NFL fourth rounder. He went into the transfer portal, signed with Miami. That's right, signed with Miami with the $6 million NIL deal. Guys, college football is broken, and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish are going to win probably 4, 5, 6, 7 national championships in the next 15 years. It is what it is. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know, they coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs. You know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark. No LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers.
What is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckeye Show with the Man Hour Show, the manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page. Go check out the blog section as well. But guys, happy Friday. Happy TGIF. I know a lot of people right now are probably watching that Ohio State game, which I got my man Zen on the TV right here. Good luck, Zen. My boy, I coached him back in high school. Now he is starting right guard over there at the Ohio State. But guys, it is Friday edition. We got a pretty good show for you today. We're going to talk about a little bit of Super Wildcard Weekend. It is Super Wildcard Weekend. We're going to talk about the Rams taking on the Vikings. Are the Vikings the most overrated team in the playoffs? Are they? We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about those Minnesota Vikings. And then, of course, we're going to talk about the Green Bay Packers taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Is Nick Sirianni officially on the hot seat? And win, lose, or draw, is Nick Sirianni out as Philadelphia Eagles head coach? We're going to talk about that. And, of course, it is Friday, and it is time to pick or slow it down, baby. It's Panic or Patience Friday, guys, here on MountainHourRadio.com. Hour number 2, we're going to talk a little about Jalen Hurts not throwing a pass since week 16. We're going to talk about the upset of the century that is going to happen. The Denver Broncos over the Buffalo Bills. Slow it down, baby. And then, of course, we end the show, as always, with a little bit of fact and a little bit of crap. Is Marlon Humphreys the X Factor? How good of a game is Saquon Barkley going to have? Is Bucky Irving the real Rookie of the Year? And Cortland Sutton, how many yards is he going to have? And is he going to be the sole reason why the Denver Broncos upset the Buffalo Bills on Sunday, 1 p.m. East Coast time? And then at the very end of the show, we got a rapid fire pick'ems and bada bing, bada boom, guys. That is the show for the day. It is Friday, TGIF. Guys, it's a live, raw, uncut NFL talk. Before we get too carried away, we got to welcome some people in the chat. We gotta welcome the pigskin pundit, the lady herself. We gotta welcome Mrs. Laura Johnson Hedrick in the chat. She says, "What up, man? Our nation." What's up, Laura? What's up? What's up? What's up? We also got my man Casey in the chat. I saw him pop up in there first, but for some reason did not come over here. But Casey, what is up? Casey's also a pigskin pundit, guys. So thank you guys for being pigskin pundits. And then we got my man Mark D in the chat. Got the man Mark D, the man, the myth, the legend, the biggest Broncos fan that I know, even though he's 5'5". He says, "What up, Buck? What's up, Mark? What's up? What's up? What's up?" Hope you're having a grand old day in snowy Denver, Colorado over there, Mark. Listen, Mark, we got about 18 inches of like snow here. We got another 4 inches today. Take that stuff back home. Take that stuff back home. Take that stuff back home. And we got my man, Alpha Rob. We got Alpha Rob says, "What is up, Buck Nasty?" What's up, Alpha Rob? What is up? What is up? Your Buffalo Bills are back. And Alpha Rob, since we moved to the 9 o'clock time, you have been the loyal man. You have, just like clockwork, I can count on you each and every day over there at youtube.com//man hour to give me some live, raw, uncut perspective, as well as Laura, Casey, and Mark, and John, and Jim, and the rest of the people that are here on the regulars, the everydayers. So, guys, thank you guys for being here each and every day. We are live every Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. East Coast time. But it is time to dive into Super Wildcard Weekend. It is time to talk about, arguably, to me personally, I think one of the best games on the docket this Super Wildcard Weekend, and that is the LA Rams taking on the Minnesota Vikings. This game has all of the implications to be a great game out there. The Rams and Vikings, guys, do play their game on Monday. It was supposed to be at LA, but it has been moved to Phoenix, Arizona because of the whole LA wildfire thing. As you guys know, the Minnesota Vikings are 14-3 on the season, and the LA Rams, the Los Angeles Rams, are 10-7 on the season. The Rams won the NFC West, so they will be the home team, and the Minnesota Vikings are runner-up in the NFC North, so they will be the 5th seed in this particular game. The Rams, guys, are among one of the hottest teams in the NFL. They started off rough, right? They were 1-4, kind of treading water, and then bada bing, bada boom, they said, "Hold my beer, here's a 9-3 record to end the season." Minnesota Vikings, much of the same, right? Started off 5-0. Dropped to the Detroit Lions, dropped to the Rams back and back like I said they would, but then they rattled off 9 games in a row. Then they ended the season with the loss to the Detroit Lions. A very heartbreaking loss, let's just be honest. But this game has been moved to Arizona, like I just said, from LA to Arizona. So with this move, does this give the Minnesota Vikings somewhat of a home field advantage, right? Because in our pigskin pundit chat, Laura's like, "Hey, you know what? Since LA can't have the game, bring it over to Minnesota, right? Let Minnesota Vikings have a whole game." I said, whoa, slow down, baby. That's not going to happen. They did not earn a home game, so that's definitely not going to happen. But the game was moved to Phoenix, Arizona. With the game being moved to Phoenix, Arizona, I was kind of expecting a lot of the LA Ram fan base not willing to drive that 5-hour drive or fly down to Phoenix for this game, right? I didn't think about that. But the LA Rams opened up the selling of the season tickets at 1:30 today, East Coast time, and they sold 25,000 tickets to this game. In the 50,000 seat arena, they sold 25,000 seats to the LA Rams season ticket holders in 30 minutes. So when we look at this, guys, the Vikings are 6-2 on the road this season. They did lose to LA on the road earlier this season, and of course they lost to the Detroit Lions the last game of the season. But on the other hand, since State Farm Arena opened back in 2016, the LA Rams are 12-7 at Phoenix, Arizona. And like I said, guys, according to the LA Rams, they sold 25,000 tickets in just 30 minutes to season ticket holders, which was the same number as they were expecting to sell when the game was at home. So when we look at this game, when we truly look at this game, who has the home field advantage? Is it the Minnesota Vikings? Their fan base travels very, very well. From what I understand, their fan base travels very, very well. Or is it the LA Rams that really don't have that home field advantage, it seems like, ever, right? And truth be told, moving it to Phoenix, I thought the Minnesota Vikings were going to have somewhat of a home field advantage, right? Kind of have a like, hey, you know what? LA, sorry about your luck, but you don't have a home game now. Now we're going to Phoenix, like Arizona, which is Lambeau West. And Vikings like to win at Lambeau Field. I don't think the Vikings guys do have a home field advantage at all, or an advantage period, right? Every advantage is pointing to the LA Rams in this particular thing. LA Rams are going to go in there with their chip on their shoulder. Our city's burning. We don't know what our families are going to do. We don't know about this. We don't know about that. And the Minnesota Vikings, their fan base, right? They had tickets planned to go to LA. They had flights scheduled to go to LA. And now all of a sudden they got to revert that to Phoenix. I don't know how hard that is, but I'd assume it's pretty hard. So the question is, do the Minnesota Vikings have a home field advantage or in a field advantage period by the game being moved? This is absolutely a false statement. This is not true at all. The Minnesota Vikings guys are going to have a very, very tough road game. The Minnesota Vikings are going to go into Phoenix, Arizona, and might get a little bit of shock and awe. Just like what American did to the Iraqis back in the day. A little bit of shock and awe, right? So, guys, is there going to be a home field advantage for either team? That's the question that I want to ask. Is there going to be a home field advantage for either team? And I'm going to say yes. The LA Rams will get that home field advantage because of 25,000 tickets that they sold in 30 minutes. And Laura says the tickets were super cheap when they went on sale, too. Wow. Laura, I didn't even know that. I mean, I assumed they were going to be cheaper, right, to try to get that fan base in there, plus the 5 hours and kind of give some people to look forward to, escape reality for 3 or 4 hours or a day or a weekend, right? But how cheap were they, Laura? That's what I want to know. How cheap were they? Laura says, seen tons of Vikings fans heading that way when the tickets were released, so watch your mouth, Buck. I'm just saying, like, when you knew you were going to go to L.A., the first thing I would have done was bought a flight to L.A. to try to get the cheapest price possible. Now, all of a sudden, bada bing, bada boom, it's in Phoenix. I don't know how that works, right? The cheapest was $34 at 1 p.m. Good Lord. $34 playoff ticket? No wonder why they sold 25,000 of them in 30 minutes. Good Lord, that is great. That is great. That is great. Now, for Rob says it's the best talk show in the business. Appreciate it, man. Definitely try to improve each and every day, each and every show, right? Definitely trying to get better. And speaking of getting better, after tonight's show, this studio that you see right here, Studio B, as I like to call it, she gone. Demolition. We're going to rebuild it from the ground up over the weekend, and hopefully get it done by Monday, right? I'm just saying. Hopefully I get it up by Monday, but you never know. But speaking of the Minnesota Vikings, the Minnesota Vikings guys have had a great season. Let's not put any shade on that whatsoever. They are 14-3 this season. They are also a 3-point favorite on Monday versus the LA Rams. They have been put up in this tier 1 of teams by many people out there in the business. When I say tier team, I'm talking about teams like the Buffalo Bills, like the Kansas City Chiefs, like the Philadelphia Eagles, like the Detroit Lions. Those are the tier 1 teams, in my opinion, going into this year's playoff. Many people are putting the Minnesota Vikings up in this tier 1 category. But what happens if they lose to the LA Rams on Monday? What happens if they don't go in there and play the best football game? They go out there and dribble down their leg a little bit. What happens if the LA Rams come up there and smack that ass, baby? Are they officially overrated? Can we officially call the Minnesota Vikings overrated if they lose the game on Monday, which they're favored by 3 points, which people are putting them in this tier 1 category, and which people are saying, hey, this is a Super Bowl caliber team? What happens if they lose on Monday? When you look at the Minnesota Vikings guys so far this season, they were swept by the Detroit Lions. Yes, I understand the Detroit Lions are a good team. They are a Super Bowl caliber team. Hell, they might go to the Super Bowl. They're a really, really good team, but you got swept by the Detroit Lions this season. You also lost to this LA Rams team earlier this season, back when they were pretty much a shell of themselves. Let's just be honest. They was a shell of themselves when the Rams beat the Minnesota Vikings on Monday Night Football in SoFi Stadium. Also, when you look at the Minnesota Vikings, guys, they are 3-3 versus playoff teams so far this season, playing 4 different teams. 2 of those wins come from the Green Bay Packers, and 2 of those losses come from the Detroit Lions. So 3-3 on the season. On the other hand, though, they did have the 3rd hardest schedule in the NFL behind the Steelers and the Patriots per Sharp Football Analytics. This was before the season started, right? Now they're like 28th, I believe it is. When you look at the Minnesota Vikings, guys, they started off the season 5-0. Then they lost back-to-back games to the Detroit Lions and the LA Rams, like I said they were going to. And then they won 9 games in a row to end a loss to the Detroit Lions. Sam Darnold has played an outlier of a season. Let's just be honest. He has not played his average. He is an extreme outlier. You can draw a cat and whisker box on it, and he would be way over here. He's the outlier this season. 2024 NFL season is an outlier for Sam Darnold this season. Why is it an outlier? He's never played a full 17-game season. Actually, a full season in general. 16, 17 games, whatever. He's never played a full season. Between injuries and getting benched and traded and being backups, he's never played a full NFL season until now. He has never thrown for 4,319 yards in a season. Hell, before that, his highest total was only like 3,100 yards. His rookie season. He has never had this many wins in a season either. Hell, his whole total win before the season was 13. He has 14 so far this season. He has played out of his mind. Many people are saying, hey, Cinderella is going to strike at some point. Midnight is going to strike on the Cinderella team at some point. Is it going to be versus the Rams? Is it going to be versus the Detroit Lions? Or will it happen in the Super Bowl? It is going to happen at some point in this season. But the question is if they lose on Monday to the LA Rams, can we officially call them overrated? And I'm going to say yes. They are an overrated team, an overachieved team, an overhyped team if they lose to the LA Rams on Monday. You cannot be deemed a Super Bowl caliber team, be 14-3 on the season, and then to lose to a team like the LA Rams. I'm not saying that the LA Rams are a bad team. I don't want you guys to take my words and twist them. The LA Rams are a good team. They are a hot team. But they are 10-7. They do have a 37-year-old quarterback, 36-year-old, whatever, like however old he is. They do have a defense that's ranked 25th in the NFL. They do have an offense that sometimes struggles to put up points. They do have a team in general that's been there and done that, but the Rams are just not them, right? They're just not quite them. I don't know what it is, but I just can't put my finger on them, and I cannot say that they're a dominant team. They're a good team. They have spurts of greatness, but they're not dominant, but they're not like bad either. They're right there in the middle of the road C team, right? Guys, if the Minnesota Vikings lose this game, which I expect they will lose this game. Sorry, Laura. Sorry, the rest of the Vikings fans out there, Jesse Pineapples. When the Minnesota Vikings lose this game, I am going to come here on Tuesday, and I am going to troll the living crap out of you guys. Let's just call a spade a spade. I have kept the receipts. I've seen what you guys have been saying in the comments. We've been having somewhat intelligent conversations. If you call death threats and clowns and this and this and this intelligent conversations, I kept those receipts. Guys, the Minnesota Vikings are not a great team. They've had greatness this season, yes. They've had spurts of greatness this season, yes. 9-game winning streak is very, very good. Hell, winning 4, 5, 6 games in a row is tough. Winning 9 is even tougher. Starting the season off 5-0, pretty good. But like many people have saying, Mark D, Hoffy, other people that I've been listening to, Cinderella always strikes midnight at some point. Cinderella story always runs out sometime at midnight. It is what it is. It is what it is. So are they overrated if they lose? Absolutely. Absolutely, they're overrated if they lose on Monday. And I don't care if it's a shootout. I don't care if it's a blowout. I don't care if it's a 1-point game. I don't care if it's a 40-point game. A loss is a loss is a loss in the playoffs, and you're going to be overrated. So, guys, are the Minnesota Vikings overrated if they lose to the LA Rams? Let me know down in the comments below. Let me know. Alpha Rob says no team with Darnold can be overrated. So, Alpha Rob, does that tell me that you're buying into Sam Darnold? You love a little bit of Sam Darnold? Or you're saying like, hey, Sam Darnold just not that good, and we can't buy any stock into him? I'm kind of confused of what you're saying, but he said, Alpha Rob says no team with Darnold can be overrated. So that tells you that Sam Darnold's going to lead them to the promised land, baby. That's what Alpha Rob's saying. Damn, slow it down, baby. Josh says the playoff team that finished with the best record should get the higher seed instead of division winners who barely finished with the 500 record. I agree and I disagree all in the same sentence there, Josh, right? I agree that you should probably be rewarded with your 14-win season. I do agree with that. However, what happens when you have the second easiest schedule in the NFL and you go 15-3 or 15-2, right? What happens if you have the hardest NFL schedule and you go 10-7, but you win your division? See, it's a double-edged sword there, Josh. But just because you could just not take wins and losses and say, oh, you're better, you're better, you're better, right? You have to do the factoring of who have they played, how have they looked, right? Use the eye test, right? And nobody's going to like a computer system to rank playoff seeds. This is the way it's been for many, many years. It hasn't been, there's been some brokenness going on, but that same brokenness, right? The Seattle Seahawks, back in, 2012? 2012, was it? They were a 7-9 team, make it into the playoffs. They had a home playoff game versus the New Orleans Saints, were 13-3, and the Saints lost. So I feel like winning your division should give you a home game. I feel like when you win your division, you should get a home game. I don't care if it's 8-8. I don't care if it's 9-8. I don't care if it's 15-1. I understand those are all 16 games, but whatever, right? You get what I'm saying. You win your division, you definitely deserve a home game. And Mark D says Vikings are back to being Fugazi. Not wrong, Mark. Not wrong at all. Let's pump those brakes a little bit. Let's pump those brakes a little bit because they are 14-3 at the end of the day, Mark. They did have the third hardest schedule in the NFL this season, per back in May. They finished with the 28th hardest schedule, if I'm not mistaken, per Sharp Football Analytics. They've had a rough stretch of games, right? Still 14-3 is pretty good record. Now, they may go into a buzzsaw called the LA Rams. We know how natural disasters always kind of rally a team. Hurricane Katrina and Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints comes to like mine, right? The LA Fires and Matthew Stafford might rally that team just enough to upset this team in the Minnesota Vikings. Maybe go into Detroit, wax that ass, baby. Wouldn't that be something? Matthew Stafford on his NFC North revenge tour. Zesty Pineapple says, go Vikings. It's their year. Zesty Pineapples, it is their year to get knocked out in the first round yet again. It is their year. And he says, what time on Tuesday? We are live every Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. East Coast time. We here, live, raw, and uncut. San Diego 1601 says, bolt the F up. Listen, as a Kansas City Chiefs fan, San Diego, 1608, I'm scared of the Chargers. But the Chargers need to get past the Houston Texans. Let's just slow it down, baby. Let's just slow it down, baby. Laura says, Buck, I do not like you right now. She says, go suck on some nuts. Pepe says, how can you bolt up when you have no nuts? Not wrong. Zessie says, nah, maybe if the refs do their job, maybe we have a chance. Let's get into the ref conversation. Because the referees are humans. The referees call it what they see. Maybe if your team just doesn't cheat, Zesty Pineapples. First of all, I love that name, Zesty Pineapples. I love me some pineapple pizza. Love me some Hawaiian pizza. But besides that, the referees are doing their job. Just don't cheat. Just don't cheat. We won't have that issue. And Laura says, nope. It doesn't matter if the Vikings win, lose, or draw. They're not overrated. Buck, shut your damn mouth, boy. She says, sit down and shut up. Know your role, jabroni. Zesty Pineapple says, nah, I'm a Vikings fan, but I honestly don't like Sam. Zesty, you might be one of the realest Vikings fans out there, Dan, because everybody is hanging from Sam Darnold's nuts right now. Let's just be honest. Oh, Sam Darnold, we love you so much, baby. You came and saved our franchise. But those same people back in June and July, Sam Darnold, what? Get out of here, right? Come on. Casey says the Vikings versus Rams is one of the games that I'm looking forward to the most, and I'm picking the Rams. Casey, and I think you're right. I think, honestly, this might be the best game of Super Wildcard Weekend. The Commanders-Bucks kind of intrigue me a lot, too. Of course, the Eagles and Packers intrigue me. But this game right here, of course, is Monday Night Football. We're going to be live, and I'm going to have to watch the game right there and then pause it and then go back and catch back up after the show. But I digress. Vikings and Rams might be the best game out there. Laura says they're not overrated. Just too soon to be that good, in my opinion. So, Laura, you're talking out both sides of your mouth right now. Let's just be honest. In my opinion, you're talking out both sides of your mouth right now. You can say they're not overrated, but they're too good to be soon. They're too good. They are soon to be that good. So you're saying that they're not good right now. That is what you're saying. They can be good down the road, 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road. Years to come, they can be that good. But right now, they're not. But at the same time, you're not saying that they're overrated. Come on now. I feel that if you're not calling your team very good right now, but you're also picking them to win the playoff game, you're picking them to go to the Super Bowl, but then they're not very good, and then they lose in the wild card game, that makes them overrated. I'm just saying. And Laura says because they lost to the Lions? They lost to the Lions? They're Fugazi? Ouch, Mark, I thought we were friends, says Laura. Don't be sucking up. Don't be sucking up. Tuesday's coming. Tuesday's coming, Mark. Keep your receipts. Laura, keep your receipts because I got mine. And honestly, Laura, I hope your Minnesota Vikings win. Honestly, Minnesota Vikings fans, I hope you win. I hope you win and you come here on Tuesday with that fire and making me eat that crow. I hope so. I really hope you do. But if you don't, and the LA Rams come back and whoop that ass, I got receipts. I got a whole thick-ass book of receipts. I got over 40,000 comments on one video alone about it. I'm ready, baby. We are ready. We're ready. And Mark says, I think their success is more because of Kevin O'Connell, not Sam Darnold. And that is facts, Mark. That is 100% facts. Coach of the year, hands down, should be Kevin O'Connell. Hands down. I had the Vikings as a 5-6 win team this season. Other people out them had 7, 8 wins tops. My Minnesota Vikings insider, Mike Reeves, had them as a 7-win team. If anybody in the right mind thought they were going to win 13, 14 games, or 10-plus games, let's just call it 10-plus, and even competing for the division title, they probably talking sideways out their mouth. They're throwing spaghetti at the wall, and hopefully something sticks. It's kind of like saying, oh, those Raiders fans, oh, we're going to the AFC West. Let me throw all this stuff out the wall and hopefully something sticks. And, oh, we beat the Chiefs on Christmas Day. Whew. See that? That's probably what they were doing. Kevin O'Connell, hands down, Mark, is the NFL Coach of the Year. Hands down. And I don't understand how people are like, they're saying Dan Campbell and Sean Payton, and I think that's pretty much all I've heard, right? No Kevin O'Connell, no Nick Sirianni, no Andy Reid. I don't understand why those three names are not in this Coach of the Year conversation. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. But I think the Coach of the Year should be Kevin O'Connell, Andy Reid in a close second, and then Nick Sirianni in a close third. I'm just saying. Pepe is in the chat. What's up, Pepe? He says Flores did a good job in Minnesota. If they win, it will be because of that D. They gave him that 6 strong inches of that D, says Pepe. Listen, that defense is pretty good. I've been kind of maybe overlooking that defense just a little bit. I think me personally, from there may have been a little bit of bias in me evaluating their defense, right? I didn't want them to be good because I thought their defense was the weakness of their team, honestly. But looking back on it, I think they're 25th in pass ranking defense, and they're like 2nd or 3rd in rush defense. I might be wrong, but I was like, their pass defense is just bad. Whatever. Yeah, right. No. They play a great bend, don't break defense, and their defense is definitely balling out. Brian Flores has done a good job as that defensive coordinator in Minnesota. And I heard of him, some rumblings about some potential head coaching opportunities. I don't know how far that's going to go, because me personally, if you want to sue my business for whatever, I'm probably not going to hire you over here. I'm just not. I digress. We're not going to go into that. We're not going to go into that. Laura says, don't put me under that category. I didn't know who Sam Darnold was. Back off, Buck. I'm not saying you, Laura. I'm not saying Zesty Pineapple. I'm not saying Sarah. I'm just saying people in general hated the signing of Sam Darnold. The general Minnesota Vikings fan base, let's say about 70, 80% of y'all, did not like it, did not understand it, did not know who Sam Darnold was, because he was a backup for 3 years, right? But now those same people are hanging from his nuts. William Settles in the chat today. There's a new name. What's up, William? He says, as a Lions fans, I hope the Vikings give Sam Darnold a big contract because it would be the biggest mistake of their franchise. William says, sign Sam Darnold now. Give him that 5-year, $55 million a year contract. Make him the 7th highest paid quarterback in the NFL because he is a bust. William, think you're on to something, buddy. Franchise tag the boy first. Do not give him that $1 bills, yo. Hopefully the Minnesota Vikings ownership general manager is smarter than that. This is outlier of the season. It's outlier of the season. But let's just make it happen. Let's just slow it down, baby. Mrs. Pigskin Bunny says, I'm also a real Vikings fan and realize it's the Vikings and we're doomed to ever win. Hashtag facts. We have not won a Super Bowl ever. And Mark D says, nah, man, slow it down, baby. Sean Payton is the coach of the year. I don't know about that. Because when we look at Coach of the Year, Mark, obviously Sean Payton has done decent this season, right? He's definitely turned that Denver Broncos team with the $50 or $40 million dead cap hit, rookie quarterback getting into the playoffs. They've done some good things. They had an easy schedule. They have 1 win versus a winning team so far this season, right? 1 win versus a playoff team this season. So slow it down. I think the Coach of the Year comes down to 3 people. Kevin O'Connell, Andy Reid, and Nick Sirianni. why am I saying Kevin O'Connell? Because nobody expected the Minnesota Vikings to be in the playoffs. Nobody expected the Minnesota Vikings to have a winning record. Nobody expected the Vikings to be 14-3. It is what it is. Andy Reid. The Kansas City Chiefs lost their number one receiver, what was it, week 2 or week 3 of this NFL season? They are 15-2. They have the best record in the NFL. All they do is win. They beat you on special teams. They beat you on defense. They beat you on offense. How is Andy Reid not the coach of the year? How? Nick Sirianni. The Philadelphia Eagles started terrible. Let's just be honest. There's 2-2 on the season going into their bye week. Everybody wanted to fire Nick Sirianni. He was yelling at fans. He was cussing out the media. He was doing this, and all of a sudden, boom, 14-3. What? What? Come on, man. Stop sleeping on people like that. Kevin O'Connell is the coach of the year. I'm telling you. JM is back in the chat today. What's up, JM? He says giving Flores credits is wild. They gave up 0.8 points less a game and 2 average yards. Stop. They also played a hell of a lot better teams this year, JM. I just looked it up. They had the 29th hardest schedule in the NFL. They played some tough teams. They played the Packers twice. They played the Lions twice. They played the Texans. They played the 49ers. They played a good team in the Indianapolis Colts, right? They had a hell of a tough schedule. So only giving up 0.8 less points per game and 2 average yards, stop it. Wasn't he the defensive coordinator last year too? I'm just saying. You got to give the man some credit. He says their defense efficiently is the same, and it's still pretty good. Don't look at the numbers. Numbers will always lie to you. You can take any number and twist it to fit whatever narrative that you want to put the box into. I can say, hey, the Minnesota Vikings have the 25th ranked pass defense in the NFL. They're giving up a lot of yards on the passing game. Pass on them. You're going to win. That's all good and dandy, and it fits the narrative. The numbers say that. But the numbers don't tell you is that teams pass 85% versus the Minnesota Vikings. They pass so much because their run defense is so dominant. You don't get rushing yards on them, so you're forced to pass. So therefore, when you're passing 85%, 30, 40, 50 times in a game, you're going to get some numbers. So you can look at those numbers, you can put them in the box any way you want to, but the simple fact of the matter is this number lies. Numbers lie, JM. Alpha Rob says Kevin O'Connell has to be the coach of the year to win that many games with Sam Darnold. Alpha Rob, you've seen Sam Darnold play. You as a Buffalo Bills fan, you got to see him firsthand how bad he was in New York for 3 years, right? You got to see firsthand how bad he is. Kevin O'Connell was a quarterback whisperer. Whatever, I got to know if it's a system. I don't know if it's Jordan Addison and JJ. I don't know what it is, but for whatever reason, if you go there, you're going to be a good quarterback. Joshua Dobbs, right? He was signed on Tuesday, played like on a Saturday or something, and put up like 400 yards. Just it is what it is. Pepe says, whoever takes the Jets' job is going to regret it. Rex Ryan will definitely regret it. John Pimples is in the chat. Says, good evening, y'all. What's up, John? What's up? Laura says, we ain't keeping longer than extra year than we have pennies on J.J. McCarthy. You didn't know, Laura, that Aaron Rodgers is coming to Minnesota next year? You guys are letting Sam Darnold walk. You're trading J.J. McCarthy to the Seahawks, and Aaron Rodgers is coming into town. Dan, the man Campbell is coach of the year, says John. No, he's not. Stop. MCDC or Andy Reid should be coach of the year. Who is MCDC? I don't know who MCDC is. Matt Campbell, Dan Campbell, I don't know. Dan Campbell is a candidate as well, which he should be. He should be a candidate. Being 15-2, right, is a candidate. You're definitely, if your team is in the playoffs with a dominant winning record like the Detroit Lions at 15-2, there should be no reason why you're not coach of the year or in the conversation of the coach of the year. Josh, you are exactly right. JM says Denver beat Tampa Bay at full strength right after beating the Detroit Lions. Be fair. Be fair, they won one playoff game. The Denver Broncos won one game versus the playoff team that has a winning record. I'm just saying. Laura says, I had the Vikings at 5 wins this year. They shocked the poop out of me this year. Have well they done. Exactly. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Pepe says, Sean Payton has done a great job, and I'm a Chiefs fan. Knicks has done well. Sean Payton has done a good job, Pepe. Me as a Chiefs fan as well. I got to watch Bo Nix very, very closely this season, and I've seen him progress each and every week, right? The first 3 or 4 weeks, right? He was kind of like, oh, I'm scared of you, Sean. And then he stepped up to like Sean, and that's his growth grew exponentially. However, there are better coaches out there. There are more deserving coaches for Coach of the Year. I'm going to put Dan Campbell's name in there. 15-2 is very, very impressive. Kevin O'Connell, Andy Reid, Nick Sirianni, and Sean McDermott, right? He definitely needs to be in that conversation. Zetsy Pineapple says, go Flores. JM says, last year they played San Francisco, Kansas City, Philly, Detroit, Green Bay, ETA. Who were we talking about? We're talking about the Denver Broncos or the Minnesota Vikings. They had a harder schedule last year. Well, in their defense, JM, the Minnesota Vikings play the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers every year, right? This year, they did play the San Francisco 49ers yet again. They also played the Houston Texans. They, statistically wise, per Sharp Football Analytics, they had a harder schedule this year. They had the 3rd hardest schedule in the NFL. I'm just saying. John says, with today's math, maybe. I don't know what you're talking about. The only important stats is points. No, the only important stats is win and loss, baby. Putting a little line on the left-hand side of the column. That's the only thing that matters. That is the only thing that matters. John Pable says the Brett Favre route. Exactly. Laura says AR is not coming to Minnesota. Stop that crap. And MCDC means Motor City Dan Campbell. Andrew's Paradise dropped at the $5 super chat. What's up, Andrew? Thank you for stopping by, man. It says just stopping in to show the show some love. I enjoy your streams. # Go Pack Go. Andrew, stay around. We'll be talking about your Packers here coming up very, very shortly. Very, very shortly. And Zesty Pineapple says, what made the Denver's defense so special this season? I don't know. I believe it was Patrick Surtain locking down half of the field all freaking season. That man was Rivers, or not Rivers. Shoot, what was the cornerback's name? Darrelle Revis 2.0. I'm just saying, 2.0. Well, guys, we talked a lot about the Minnesota Vikings. Now let's talk about the LA Rams. The LA Rams seem to be a great success story, right? The Rams are 9-3 since their 1-4 start to the 2024 NFL season. Matthew Stafford had yet another average season, throwing for just over 3,700 yards. However, the LA Rams are considered to be in a rebuild year. Sean McVay himself wanted out this offseason. Aaron Donald retired, and Matthew Stafford was rumored to be on the trading block going to Dallas. The Rams were all pretty much written off all season long, right? But now, 9-3 since their 1-4 start. One of the hottest teams in the NFL have a home playoff game in Arizona. But are the Rams a better story to make the Super Bowl than the Detroit Lions? Would the LA Rams be a better story, a better build-up to the Super Bowl than the Detroit Lions? Why do I say this? Everyone seems to love Matthew Stafford. Whether it's Detroit Matthew Stafford or LA Matthew Stafford, he's a very, very likable person. He has a very, very easygoing personality and a smoking hot wife. Let's just be honest. And when you look at the Rams to start the season, guys, they had a plus 4,500 chance to win the Super Bowl, which was 10th in the NFL. Basically meaning they did not have a very good chance to make the Super Bowl, let alone win their division, let alone make the playoffs. Now, me personally, I did have the Rams going 10-7 this season. I expected their defense to struggle without Aaron Donald starting out. I did not expect their defense to be playing the way they are right now. Since the rough start of 1-4, the defense has stepped up. They're still not great, but they've stepped up and they've gotten a lot better. They're finally getting pressure onto the quarterback, which is huge. As of right now, they do have the 26th ranked defense still, but a lot of their yardage were given up the first 6 games, which kind of skews their numbers a little bit. And let's just be honest, everybody loves a national disaster underdog stories. The Lions have been underdogs their whole franchise, their whole lifespan since 1957, right? Better luck next year since 1957. But I think the LA Rams are a better underdog story right now, especially with the LA Fires. So guys, if I got to ask the question, who would make the better Super Bowl story, the LA Rams or the Detroit Lions? I got to say the LA Rams. The LA Rams make a very, very intriguing story this year. The LA Rams give you that little good feeling underdog, anybody can do it, Rudy type of situation, right? You go from 1-4, lose a defensive player of the year to retirement. You've gone through injuries, and then all of a sudden you're 9-3. All of a sudden you're in the playoffs. All of a sudden you're beating one of the best teams in the NFL. Then you go to your old hometown, whoop that ass, and then you go to Philly and whoop that ass. Guys, the Rams' story is better than the Detroit Lions. I'm just saying the Rams' story right now is much better than the Detroit Lions. Now, obviously, if the Detroit Lions make it, it's going to be awesome. All hell is going to break loose. There's going to be everybody and their dog rooting for the Detroit Lions because they've never won the Super Bowl, right? Especially if they're playing the Kansas City Chiefs. It's going to be like the big Greek god versus the small god. Why is it slipping my mind right now? What is it? Goliath and whoever. I don't know. It's going to be the big dog versus the small dog, right? It's going to be a great story, but I think the Rams right now, guys, have had the better story. What do you guys think? Is it a Rams better story or the Detroit Lions better story? And Edgar Uris says Rams will win it all. And Edgar, it would not shock me one bit if the LA Rams do win it all. Matthew Stafford has been there and done it. He's won the Super Bowl. National disasters bring teams together, brings communities together, gets you laser focused, right? Because what is the best thing to do when your city just got hit by a tornado? What is the best thing to do if your city just got hit by a hurricane? The best thing you can do is come together as a team, give something the fans look for all weekend long, take away from their house being burned down, take away from all their pictures and their memories being flooded away, and to just play great football. For 3 hours a day, it gives people just to escape from reality. LA needs it, right? LA needs it. And JM says Rams hit on every draft pick, especially on their defensive picks. They did. The LA Rams hadn't had a first-round draft pick in like 6 years or something crazy like that. And they nailed this year's draft. 100%. And John says, come on, man. It's the Detroit Lions. We know this. We know this is the Detroit Lions. And Pepe says, nope. I would rather see the Lions, and so would America. If you would have said that a week ago, Pepe, 100%. This would not even be a conversation. But in the recent events that have just happened, the fires, all those houses being burned down, right? Smoke and fires being seen from the LA Rams practice facility, and like whatnot. Like, people are going to rally around the Rams. Rally around the Rams. And Laura says, no, not the Rams. No way, Jose. And Drew says, I would rather see the Lions too. Man, you owe some feel-good haters right now. each and every one of you right now that are saying the Detroit Lions are pure feel-good haters. You're hurting my feels. Andrew's Paradise says more surprising, yes. A better story than the Lions, who hasn't been good since the 1950s, no. Andrew, you are correct. I don't have my hoodie on me right now, but it is a Detroit Lions logo, and it says, maybe next year, it says 1957. The Detroit Lions have not won a championship since 1957. And I get it. John, you are a huge Detroit Lions fan. You are a very good historian, right? What was it, like 54 and 55? They were like the bee's knees. They were killing everybody. They were good back then. I will give you that. I will give you that. And Edgar says the Lions will lose to the Rams. And Edgar, it would not shock me one bit. It would not shock me one bit. However, I want to say Matthew Stafford going back into Ford Field yet a second time. You better get the job done this time, brother. Better get the job done this time. Let's go. Let's go. Josh says the Lions winning the Super Bowl would be a very much better story. Like I said, and Josh and Pepe and Drew and Jim and John, I agree with you guys. It would be a great story. Like, either story is going to be great, right? Detroit Lions winning their first championship since 1957. The LA Rams rallying together in the face of adversity, winning the championship. It would all be great stories, but let's just be it. These are all non-fiction stories. These are fiction stories, right? Because these are stories that are not going to happen because we all know the Kansas City Chiefs are going to three-peat. Just slow it down. Pepe says, I'm hoping the Rams restrooms have running water. That's why they're playing in Arizona, Pepe. A little too soon. $20 million short. But JM says, Goff is the reject quarterback. Campbell is a storybook coach. Their team is all injured, and they have a real fan base. LA doesn't actually care about sports. LA doesn't care about sports until the playoffs start. Then you see all the celebrities start to come out to all the games. JM, you are correct. You are correct on that. But to say that the Detroit Lions are the most injured team out there, they're not. They're the sixth most injured team in the NFL. They have gone through adversity all season long. They had at one point they had 21 guys on like IR. They have been, right? But at the same token, the Rams were injured very much earlier in the season too. They just got healthy mid-season. Andrew, thank you. David versus Goliath. Thank you, guys. I knew what I wanted to say, but I cannot think of it, and I was butchering the crap out of it. Andrew and Drew, thank you, guys. Appreciate that. David versus Goliath. That's what I was thinking of. Alpha Rob says, I say the Lions, they have never been there, and they just get to beat by the Buffalo Bills. Oh, what was it? I saw it somewhere where, like, they want the Buffalo Bills to go there, and it was another NFC team that's never won. It was the Minnesota Vikings, right? Both of them are 0-4 in the Super Bowls. Minnesota Vikings and the Buffalo Bills. They want those two teams to make it, so one team can finally get their first Super Bowl win, breaking the 0-4 streak, right? And then the other one's 0-5, and they're never going to win a Super Bowl. That's a better storyline, Vikings versus Bills. Let's just be honest. And Laura says, take the natural disaster happening out of it. Would you be saying that about the Rams? No, I would not. Laura, you are exactly right. You take away the natural disaster, 100%, we are not talking about a better field goal story about the Rams or the Detroit Lions. Not going to happen. But natural disasters bring communities together. Natural disasters bring people together. Me, my sophomore year of high school, we had an F5 tornado come through town. Totally wipe our town completely out. The only thing left was the cornfield next to the football field, our high school, and the soybean next to our football field. Everything else was completely gone. 2 days after that tornado came through town, we had our first football game of the year. It brought a whole community together. We ended up beating the defending state champions on our home field and whooped that ass like 60-0. Just things like that have ways of bringing people together, elevating the game, right? And Alpha Rob says the Buffalo Bills have a better story. Yes. Yes and no. Yes and no. Buffalo Bills are supposed to be there, Alpha Rob. Buffalo Bills are supposed to be, finally winning their first Super Bowl. We can talk about that. Let's say that for Wednesday, and we'll see who is left in there, whether it's the Vikings, Rams, and then we'll say who is the better storyline, right? What is the better Super Bowl storyline? We'll say that for Wednesday. John says, it isn't the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. Say that for Monday. Motivational Monday if you're Pigskin Pundit. And Andrew says, in a narrow view of just one season and the Fires, then yes, the Rams are a better story. But from a decade or more view, the Lions are a better story. That is correct. That is probably the most correct answer that we've all seen. And the last week's story from playoffs on, the Rams this year, right? Narrow vote, whatever, but in a wide peripheral view, the Detroit Lions, 100%. And Laura says again, take the sad story out of it. That's what sells, Laura. That's what sells. Sex sells and sad story sells. It is what it is. And Andrew says, as a Packers fan, I would be happy for the Lions fans if they won a Super Bowl, but I hope the Vikings lose to the Rams. I hate the Vikings and their fans have always unfounded arrogance. Don't shoot the messenger, guys. That is Andrew's words. I'm just relaying them. Wide right. And Laura says the Vikings better win. All right. So, let me ask you guys this question. We are going to do the game pick'ems toward the end of the show here, but I just want you to think here. Rams versus Vikings. Who do you guys got winning and why? Save your comments for about 30 minutes or so, so. We're just getting into hour number 2, so save it, but we'll talk about it. But just know that it is coming. Just know that it is coming. Coming. Speaking of coming, the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers are coming, baby. I've been on their Super Bowl bandwagon for a while here a little bit, right? But on Sunday, the 7th seed, the Green Bay Packers, do battle the number 2 seed, the Philadelphia Eagles. They did play back in week 1 in Brazil with the Philadelphia Eagles coming out on top. The Packers have lost the last 2 games of the season, including a loss to the Chicago Bears. Ouch. The Eagles, however, have won 12 of 13 games after their slow 2-2 start going into the bye week. But when you look at this game, Green Bay Packers versus the Philadelphia Eagles, guys, can the Green Bay Packers pull the upset? Can the Green Bay Packers go into Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and whoop that green ass? Green on green crime down there in Brazil, which is illegal. So, guys, when we look at the Philadelphia Eagles, guys, they have the second best rushing attack in the NFL. They average 179.3 yards per game on the ground. Let me repeat that. 179.3 yards rushing per game. They are second behind the Baltimore Ravens, which are averaging 181.1 yards per game. But on the flip side of that, the Green Bay Packers do have the 7th best rush defense in the NFL, only giving up 99 yards per game. Now let's take it one step further. The Philadelphia Eagles have one of the worst passing attacks in the NFL, averaging 187 yards per game, which is 29th in the NFL. On the other side of that, the Green Bay Packers have the 13th ranked passing defense in the NFL. They lock it down, baby. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Seatbelt it up. Kick in that box, bada bing, bada boom. However, Jair Alexander is out. Keep that in mind. Peep that. He is out. He's on sitting. He's in IR. Jalen Hurts has not thrown a pass. That's right. He has not thrown a pass since week 16 of the NFL season. To start the season before the bye week, he only had 3 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. He was not throwing the ball very well at all. But since then, he only has 5 interceptions. Been keeping the ball nice and protected, right? Saquon Barkley did go off versus the Green Bay Packers back in week 1 for 109 yards and 2 tutties. But the Packers did lose their best cornerback in Jair Alexander. So, guys, can the Green Bay Packers pull the upset over the Philadelphia Eagles? Can they go into Philadelphia and whoop that ass? Guys, the Green Bay Packers can win this game if they stack the box. If they stack the box, forcing the Philadelphia Eagles to pass the ball, they can win this game. They can. But with Jair Alexander out, do you really want to test your other young corners out there? Do you really want to test that, let's just be honest, subpar secondary? Now, everything in my body wants to pick the Green Bay Packers to upset this game. Everything in my body understands that the Green Bay Packers do have a Super Bowl caliber team. They do. And they did this last year. The Philadelphia Eagles kind of skated into the playoffs, right? Skated in that number 1 or that number 2 overall seed in the NFC East Championship, much like the Dallas Cowboys did last season. Green Bay Packers came in and whooped that ass. Things are different, though, now. Things are a little bit different. The Philadelphia Eagles have the best defense in the NFL. Let me repeat that. The Philadelphia Eagles have the best defense in the NFL. Josh Jacobs is not going to be able to run wild. Jordan Love is not going to be able to pass the ball all over the field. It is going to be a defensive slugfest, and the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win this game. Can the Packers pull the upset? They can. Will they? No, they won't. Unfortunately, guys, the Philadelphia Eagles are on a mission. The Philadelphia Eagles are a team that you do not want to F with right now. Let's just say it. I have to say this. But, guys, can the Green Bay Packers pull the upset? No. Not can. Will they pull the upset? In the comments below, guys, do you think the Green Bay Packers will pull the upset versus the Philadelphia Eagles? I'm saying no. And Laura says, this hurts my heart to say, but I hope the Green Bay Packers win. She hopes the Green Bay Packers win because she doesn't want to play the Philadelphia Eagles. It is what it is. It is what it is. And John says, oh, hell no. Fly, Eagles, fly. Spooner, man, says the Browns are winning the Super Bowl this year. They are. Actually, on my game right now, I had the Browns versus the Bills in the Super Bowl. If you catch the joke, you catch the joke, right? It can't happen. John says Saquon will have 140. Saquon should have a 100-yard game. I'm just saying. He should. But will he? I don't know. Alpha Rob says, if the Packers can make Hurts throw the ball more than Philly, they will win. So Alpha Rob saying stack the box. Play some man-to-man on the outside. Make A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith beat you deep. Make Jalen Hurts not nickeling down the field, but push the ball down the field, and they will win that game. And I think that's the only way you can win that game. You cannot fight fire with the Green Bay Packers, or with the Philadelphia Eagles. You cannot go blow for blow. It needs to be a shootout. Jordan Love needs 350 yards with 3 tutties. You need to keep Saquon Barkley under 85 yards. You need to make Jalen Hurts throw the ball more than 24 times a game. That's his average, about 35 times a game. I'm just saying. And Drew says the Packers can sit down and rotate on his finger. Drew says he wants Jordan Love right here with his mouth wide open and say, Jordan Love, I love you. Rob Faye's back in the chat today. What's up, Rob? He says, just wondering about around the LA fans playing in Arizona. Rob, there are 25,000 tickets sold in 30 minutes by LA fans. They are going to Arizona. It will be nice and rowdy there. Josh Olson says Green Bay's best chance for them is to run the ball 30 to 40 times. And slow it down, baby. Slow it down. That's fighting with fire there. That is fighting fire with fire. Josh, I understand. I think I understand what you're trying to say. You want to limit the amount of time the Philadelphia Eagles have possession, right? You want the Green Bay Packers to control the clock. You want them to take away the possessions. However, once you do that, you are taking away your possessions as well. And when you take away your possessions plus their possessions, you mess up one time, like Jordan Love likes to do. You're playing from behind, and all of a sudden you're it sucks. It sucks. And Drew says, "Fly, Eagles, fly." Drew also said, "Jordan Love, fly right into my face and sit on it, baby." And Laura says, "Facts. I hate the Eagles. I don't want to play them because you're scared of them. It's okay to be scared of them. It is. It is." And John says they want to set the pass up by the run. Who are you referring to? Are you referring to the Eagles? No, the Eagles just don't want to pass the ball, period. They just want to run the ball. Simple as that. They want to run the ball over and over and over again. Speaking of the Philadelphia Eagles, they do play the Green Bay Packers on Sunday, like we just said. They have one of the best teams in the NFC, offense and defensive-wise. They are a nice, complete team. They have won 12 of 13 games. But guys, if the Philadelphia Eagles get past the Green Bay Packers, are they a Super Bowl-bound team? Can the Philadelphia Eagles win the Super Bowl if they get past the Green Bay Packers in the Super Wildcard Weekend? The Philadelphia Eagles, guys, have one of the best defense. Actually, they have the best defense, the number one ranked overall defense in the NFL. They're also first in passing defense. They're also 10th in rushing defense. Saquon Barkley has been their workhorse for the team all season long. He averages 125 yards per game. He averages 125 yards per game. But when you look at this, at potential teams that they can play after the Green Bay Packers, they could play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They could play the LA Rams. They could play the Minnesota Vikings. They could potentially play the Washington Commanders. And they all got pretty good rushes defenses, right? The Bucs defense is ranked 4th in rushing. The Rams defense is ranked 22nd, not very good. The Vikings has the 2nd ranked rush defense, and then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then the Washington Commanders have the 5th ranked rushing defense. Now, all that sounds good. We are going to take your 2nd ranked rushing attack, and we're going to go up against with our 4th rushing defense, or 2nd ranked defense, or 5th rushing defense, and we're going to fight fire with fire, and we're going to win. Guys, the Philadelphia Eagles are the most complete, the most balanced team in all of NFL. If I'm playing the Philadelphia Eagles, I don't know what to stop. Do I stop Jalen Hurts? Do I stop Saquon Barkley? Do I stop their passing game? What do I want to stop? Do I try to rush on the defense? Do I try to pass on the defense? What do I do? It is a complete toss-up. But guys, if the Philadelphia Eagles get past the Green Bay Packers, which I think they will, matter of fact, I know they will. Let me put some respect on it. I know they will. Guys, the Philadelphia Eagles are a Super Bowl-bound team. The only team that I think that could compete with them right now are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which beat them back in, week 4. I don't think the Lions can compete with the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't think the Vikings can compete with the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't think the LA Rams compete with the Minnesota Vikings. Commanders, they beat the Commanders beat the Eagles, but that was just a pure fluke. Jalen Hurts went down in the first quarter, playing backup, and the defense just shit the bed. The game weren't playing for nothing, let's just be honest. But guys, yes, if the Green Bay Packers, or if the Philadelphia Eagles get past the Green Bay Packers, they're a Super Bowl bound team. It is what it is. It is what it is. Put some respect on their name. And John says, F the Packers. And Laura says, unfortunately, yes. The Eagles will win it all this year if they get past the Green Bay Packers. If they make the Super Bowl, they're winning it all. No 3-peat for the Kansas City Chiefs. And now for Rob, I think we're on the same page here, man. We see the same thing. The Tampa Bay doesn't fear Philly at all. They may not fear them, but I'm not for sure if they can compete with them in the playoffs. Tampa Bay Buccaneers is 2-0 against the Philadelphia Eagles the last 2 games, right? Beat them in the playoffs last season, beat them in the regular season this season. It's time for a little revenge. It's time for that revenge game. And John says, no, they're the runner-up to the Lions. John, I like your optimism, but the Detroit Lions are a first playoff game exit. They're losing in the divisional round. It is what it is. But on the other hand, guys, what if the Philadelphia Eagles get beat by the Green Bay Packers? What if they get beat in the Super Wildcard round? What if they don't win 2 playoff games this season? Is Nick Sirianni out? Is Nick Sirianni on the hot seat if the Philadelphia Eagles do not win a Super Bowl this season? Guys, I think the biggest cancer on the Philadelphia Eagles team is their coach. It's not A.J. Brown. It's not Devontae Smith. It's not Jalen Hurts. It's not the defensive guys. It's their freaking head coach, Nick Sirianni. Through all the ups and downs of the epic collapse of 2023 and the epic collapse of the start of 2024, the centerpiece of everything has been Nick Sirianni. I don't know what it is about him. I don't know if he's bipolar. I don't know if he has multiple personality disorder. I don't know. But for some reason, that man is so high and so low. Obviously, he has coached the Philadelphia Eagles to a Super Bowl. They lost the Super Bowl, but he went to Super Bowl. They were 11-0 last season. Epic collapse. 14-3 this season. Epic collapse to start the season. Guys, if Nick Sirianni loses in the first round to the Green Bay Packers as a 7th seed, might add, Nick Sirianni is officially out. I actually said it back in August timeframe. I said Nick Sirianni was on the hot seat going into the season as is. And they started off 2-2. The Eagles were a miserable team. I said fire his ass during the bye week. Did not happen. Eating a little bit of crow about that, right? 12 of 13 to end the season. Not too shabby. But something just about Nick Sirianni does not rub me right. I don't know what it is, but it just does not rub me right. And then John, with the same old saying as always, says, what if a frog had wings? Do you think he would bump his ass when he hopped? Like, come on. Frogs do have wings. Josh said, it would be a bummer to see the Eagles to get a Super Bowl. Because of the Lions? Josh, you're a Chiefs fan, aren't you? And Laura says, yeah, he's probably gone. He's probably out of here. You cannot have a 14-3 season and then poop the bed to the Green Bay Packers and expect to have a job in 2025. Just it is what it is, she says. It is what it is. All righty, guys. We're fresh in hour number 2. We're about, 1 hour and 15 minutes into today's show. And it is Friday. It is Friday, so we got to panic or we need to slow it down, baby. So we got Panic or Patience Friday, guys. What it is, I've been scouring the old interwebs, and I've been seeing what the people are saying. I've been seeing what the people have been talking about, and we need to determine if we need to panic about it or we need to slow it down, baby. So, guys, play along. Is it going to be panic time or is it going to be patient time going across the NFL? Panic or Patient Friday is here. Panic, guys. Panic or Patient Friday is brought to you by Get Upside app. If you guys do not have the Get Upside app, go down to your iOS store or Android device and download the Get Upside app. Use promo code BUCK, and bada bing, bada boom, you get an extra 25 cents off your first 20 gallons of gas. Get Upside, guys. Get Upside is the proud sponsor of Panic or Patient Friday, guys. So download that app and help the people out. Help the people out. It's a great app. I use it each and every day, guys. I actually gotten about $150 cash back over this past year. So it is a good thing. But the first Panic or Patient Friday here is with the Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts. As you guys know, Jalen Hurts has not thrown a football, has not completed a pass since week 16. He has just cleared concussion protocol yesterday and will be starting in this Super Wildcard game versus the Green Bay Packers. But since Jalen Hurts has not thrown a ball since week 18, should the Philadelphia Eagles fans be in panic mode that Jalen Hurts may not be the man, the myth, the legend in this particular game? As you guys know, the Philadelphia Eagles do have one of the worst passing attacks in the NFL. They average just 187 yards passing per game. On the other hand, though, Jalen Hurts only averages 24 pass attempts per game as well. He does have 18 touchdowns to 5 interceptions this season after the first 4 weeks having 3 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. So he has gone 15-1 in the last 13 games. The previous 3 seasons, though, guys, he has had 3,000-plus yards in those previous 3 seasons. So he knows how to pass the ball. He knows how to do work. But should the Philadelphia Eagles band be in panic mode because Jalen Hurts has not only stepped foot on the field, but completed a pass since week 16? And I'm about to say, slow it down, baby. Slow it down, baby. It is no time to panic. The Philadelphia Eagles, guys, what do they do well? They run the ball. That's what they do, is they run the ball. They give the ball to Saquon Barkley for 125 yards a game. They give the ball to Kenneth Gainwell for another 60 to 70 yards per game. They let Jalen Hurts eat with about 40 to 50 yards per game. They average 178 yards on the ground rushing each and every game. 179 yards rushing each and every game. Just because he hasn't completed a pass, I would not be worried about that. What I would be worried about is his health, is the concussion, right? Concussions that linger on for 2, 3, 4 weeks, it was a bad concussion. But just because he hasn't completed a pass, that don't mean you need to panic. That doesn't mean you need to start freaking out. You need to slow it down, baby. You don't need a panic. No panic going on here, right? Next up, we're Panic for Patient Friday here. The Buffalo Bills. That's right, Alpha Rob, your Buffalo Bills. The Denver Broncos and the Buffalo Bills, guys, play at 1 p.m. on Sunday. The Broncos did beat the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football last season. That's right, in 2023 with the lesser team in Buffalo. This is a 1 o'clock game. Denver Broncos are definitely overmatched, overwhelmed, and distinct underdogs in this game. However, many people are calling the upset. Many people are saying, like my man Mark D, the Denver Broncos are going to go in there and whoop that ass. Guys, should the Buffalo Bills be in panic mode that this 1 o'clock game on Sunday is an upset alert? Do they need to panic or they need to slow it down, baby? Right? When you look at this game, everything is pointing to the Buffalo Bills have no home field advantage. Yes, I understand they are playing at home, but this is a 1 p.m. kickoff game. What are the Buffalo Bills fans known for? Getting sloppy-ass drunk, jumping through tables. 1 p.m. kickoff doesn't really give me time to get crunk. Let's just be honest. I could be there at 7 o'clock in the morning, but I'm not going to be that crunk come 1 o'clock. The crowd's going to be not as in. They're going to be rowdy. Let's not get it twisted. But they're not going to be as into it if it was a 4 o'clock game or 8 o'clock game. And also, the 1 o'clock game, the weather, not going to be much of a factor. It's going to be in the lower 30s, little to no wind, no snow expected. So Josh Allen's strong-ass arm doesn't really need to have to come into play versus Bo Nick's weak-ass arm. Nice even playing field. On the other hand, the Buffalo Bills have not played a meaningful game in more than a month. A month ago, when they did win the Super Bowl back on December 15th versus the Detroit Lions, since then they had not played nobody. They had a bye week, and then they played the New England Patriots twice and the New York Jets. They have not played a meaningful game in over a month. Should the Buffalo Bills be in panic mode that they have not played a meaningful game in a month, that there's no weather at home field advantage, and that the Denver Broncos are coming in with nothing to lose? Should they be in panic mode? They need to slow it down, baby. They need to slow it down, baby. All you media people, all you talking heads, all you fans out there need to slow it down, baby. The Buffalo Bills, like Alpha Rob says, they are on a mission. They're on a mission from God. As my favorite Blues Brothers movie ever says. We're on a mission from God. It's dark outside. They got sunglasses. We got a half a pack of smokes, a half a tank of gas. Let's go. Guys, there is no doubt in my mind that the Buffalo Bills are going to walk all over the Denver Broncos. It is what it is. There's no question in my mind that this might be a double-digit win. Hell, it might be a triple-digit win. 110-10. Let's call it right now, right? The Buffalo Bills are not an upset alert. There's no reason for the fans to be in panic mode. There's no need for them to. Don't take the Denver Broncos lightly, but don't be stressing about it. Don't be worried about this underdog story or comfort around behind, worrying about them losing on Monday Night Football just last season with the lesser team. Come on, slow it down, babe. There is no need to panic. Stop it. All right, guys, it is 90 minutes into the show. It is time to get some NFL game picks in them. The NFL Super Bowl wild card is here. Alpha Rob says, slow it down, baby. Slow it way down, baby. But it is time to get our NFL picks in them, guys. It is time to get our picks and put some respect on the name. Who do you guys got? Who do you guys got? Who do you guys got? Game number 1, Saturday afternoon, 4 p.m. on the East Coast time. Actually, 4:30 here on the East Coast time. Did you guys know that the Houston Texans have made the playoffs 7 times? They have made the playoffs 8 times, and all 8 times they played a 4:30 Saturday game. Just throwing it out there. But the first game that we got up here, guys, we got the LA Chargers, the 5th seed, take on the 4th seed, the Houston Texans. Chargers are a 3-point favorite. Who are you guys taking? Who are you guys taking? I am taking the Houston Texans. I am taking the underdog. I'm taking the home team. I think the Houston Texans will right the ship a little bit. I think it's going to be a nasty game. It's not going to be a very enjoyable game to watch unless you're a defensive head. 13-10, maybe 17-13 type of score. But I am taking the Houston Texans in this game. Who do you guys got? Let me know in the comments below. Texans or the LA Chargers in this first matchup on Saturday. John is saying the Texans by 4. Drew is saying the Texans by 4. Laura is saying the Texans. Is this just all this hating the Chargers or what? Alpha Rob, there you go, bringing some validity there. She said the Chargers. Chargers, he's saying Chargers. Josh Olson is saying the Chargers 23-16. Josh is saying those 34-plus point games, the last 3 games is no fluke. Chargers are going to put up some points. So we got Texans, Chargers, Chargers. So it looks like the majority is going to go with the Texans in this particular game. The next game up, Saturday night. I think this is going to be a great game as well. The 6th seed, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the mighty Baltimore Ravens. These are 2 teams in total opposite directions. The Steelers have lost 4 in a row. The Ravens have won 4 in a row, including a head-to-head matchup versus the Steelers back in those 3 games in 11 days. I got the point spread here, and it looks like the Baltimore Ravens are a 9.5 point favorites. 9.5 point favorites. First things first, if you are a betting man and you are not taking the points and the Steelers, something is wrong. Take the points and the Steelers 100%. But I am worried about the Baltimore Ravens. I'm worried about playoff Lamar Jackson. I'm worried about playoff Coach Harbaugh. I'm worried about playoff Baltimore Ravens in general. But right now, something is wrong in Pittsburgh. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if it's defensive players. Somebody's compensating for a small dick somewhere. This hurts me to say, but I'm picking the Baltimore Ravens in this particular game. I think the Baltimore Ravens go in there and they play well. This is not a 9.5 point spread. This is a 5 to 6 point game tops, a 1-score game. But I do think the Baltimore Ravens guys win this game, and it's a 23-17 score. I think Lamar Jackson has a great game. 250, 300 yards passing, another 100 yards on the ground, and we don't hear Derrick Henry's name till the 3rd quarter, till he breaks off an 80-yard run and puts him over that 100 yard mark. So I'm picking the Baltimore Ravens in this particular game. Excuse me. Drew is taking the Pittsburgh Steelers. I like the Steelers. I like the Steelers too, Drew, but I just can't pick them to win right now. Josh is saying the Baltimore Ravens 24-20. John is saying the Baltimore Ravens by 7. Okay, I like it. John says Derrick Henry will have 165 yards on the ground. Alpha Rob says Steelers, playoff Lamar Jackson will show up and the Steelers get after that ass. And Alpha Rob, it would not shock me one bit if you were absolutely correct. But for some reason, I think it's the Baltimore Ravens year this year. I think it's their year to get this monkey off the back a little bit. And Laura says, go Ravens flock. She's picking the Ravens as well. Now moving on to the Sunday matchup, the 1 o'clock game out there on CBS plus Paramount Plus. The Buffalo Bills, 9.5 point favorite over the Denver Broncos. Like I said, many of the talking heads out there, including Mark D, is picking the Denver Broncos, of course, as his team to upset the Buffalo Bills. Everything is in a trend to where the Denver Broncos do have a little bit of advantage. 1 o'clock game, no wind, nice weather, no snow on the ground. Patrick Surtain's playing lights out. But you guys understand the Buffalo Bills are one of the healthiest teams in the NFL. But Josh Allen is the MVP. That defense is getting better. Guys, the Buffalo Bills are going to walk all over the Denver Broncos. They're going to win by at least two scores. So I am taking the Buffalo Bills and the 9.5 points. Give me an 11-point win. Let's call it 31-20 at the end of the day. So I'm taking the Buffalo Bills. John is saying the Buffalo Bills by 14. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Josh is saying the Buffalo Bills win 33-24. Josh, I'm kind of right there with you on that score. And Laura says, hold my beer, the Buffalo Bills by 3 scores. She says the Buffalo Bills don't have a chance. 3 scores, baby. Okay. And Alpha Rob says the Buffalo Bills by even more. By, what's that? 19 points. 37-19 says Alpha Rob. Buffalo Bills. So everybody's picking the Bills in the chat. It looks like, okay. Then we got the 4 o'clock game. We have the number 2 seed, the Philadelphia Eagles, with the 5-point favorite taking on the number 7 seed, the Green Bay Packers. Like we said, guys, Jalen Hurts has not played since week 16. We got that concussion. Jordan Love has an elbow issue. Jair Alexander is out. And, of course, Josh Jacobs is always dealing with some type of injury. Would you have the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Green Bay Packers? Who do you guys got in this game? I'm taking the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are on a mission. I think the Philadelphia Eagles will go out there and they will flex on the Green Bay Packers. The scoreboard will reflect a close score. But I think the Philadelphia Eagles dominate all aspects of the games, and the Packers get a couple late scores to make it somewhat of a respectable score. Let's say 28-24 is that final score. Give me the Philadelphia Eagles. So who do you guys got? Do we have the Philadelphia Eagles or the Green Bay Packers in this game? Josh said the Philadelphia Eagles win 37-26. I like it. John says the Eagles by 4. I'm sorry, let me pop those up for you. Eagles by 4. Laura says the Green Bay Packers by 2 with the upset. She says they're going to come back and whoop that ass. Is it an overtime game, Laura? Is it an overtime game? Nah, it can't be an overtime game. And Alpha Rob says Eagles. Eagles get the dub. Then we had the 8 o'clock game, Sunday night football game. Chris Collinsworth and Al Michaels. We have the number 3 seed Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the 6 seed Washington Commanders and potential Rookie of the Year Jaden Daniels. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, guys, are a 3-point favorite in this particular game. This is the game that I am somewhat intrigued about. I'm intrigued because I want to see if Dan Quinn will shit the bed in a big game. I want to see if Baker Mayfield lives up to Baker freaking Mayfield, baby. But I'm really curious to see if Jaden Daniels can, when the lights are shining bright on him, if he is going to perform. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, guys, is a team that you really don't want to play. Nobody wants to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now. This team is on cloud 9. Mike Evans just got his 11th straight 1,000-yard season. Baker Mayfield's balling out. Otten, the tight end, is balling out. Bucky Irving should be the Rookie of the Year, but we digress. He's balling out. I'm taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they're going to win by 12 points. I think it's going to be a 35-23-24 type of score. I think the Buccaneers put up a lot of points, and the Commanders try to keep pace, and they just can't do it. The Buccaneers' defense is much better than what people think. I think the Buccaneers coming out on top, getting that dub. So what do you guys think? Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Washington Commanders? Josh says the Bucs, 31-23. Laura says the Bucs win by 3. John says the Bucs win by 6, 26-20. And of course, Alpha Ross picking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Nobody's picking the Washington Commanders. So that all means that the Washington Commanders are going to come and get that dub. Let's just be honest. About that. And then the final game of Super Wildcard Weekend, Monday Night Football. One of the best games, most intriguing matchups of a whole Super Bowl Wildcard Weekend are the number 4 seed LA Rams taking on the number 5 seed Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are a 3-point favorite in this particular game. I've been trying to find ways to want to pick the Minnesota Vikings. I've been trying to give myself any type of reasoning to pick the Minnesota Vikings because I would love to see a rematch of the Detroit Lions taking on the Minnesota Vikings. However, I really want to see the Minnesota Vikings lose in their first playoff game, and I really want to see the Detroit Lions lose in their first playoff game, just because the haters. But I'm just kidding. But I am picking the LA Rams in this game. I think the LA Rams win a close one, 24-23, and it is going to come down to a controversial face mask call. It's going to come down to a face mask call. Sam Darnold is going to get his face ripped off in the end zone, causing a safety, putting the Rams on top. I'm kidding, but I kind of picking 24-23, picking the Rams to win this game. Josh is saying the Vikings win this game 27-24. Laura says Vikings win by 1. Alpha Rob says Rams. I cannot take Sam Darnold in the playoff game. This is Sam Darnold's first playoff game as a starter, so might have the Lamar Jackson syndrome, right? Might a little bit of dribble down his leg a little bit, right? And then John is picking the Minnesota Vikings as well, 24-21. All right, guys. That is going to be it for this week. Week 19 is officially in the books, right? Live, raw, uncut NFL talk every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. East Coast time. Guys, we'll be back Monday. Of course, I know you guys will be watching the Minnesota Vikings game as well. We will be streaming games over there on our Discord. So if you guys are not a part of the Discord, click on the description below. Join the Discord, and all the games will be streaming over there, all playoff games all season long. But until then, guys, we'll see you next time. Until then, we out.